Hello, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Lauren, and I will be guiding you through a restorative yoga practice. Restorative yoga is meant to be very calm, very gentle, very passive, very comfortable and relaxing and easy. And so we need a few props to allow that to happen. So if you have 2 blocks and a bolster and you've got all the yoga props at home, you are more than welcome to use those props. But I will be demoing using a towel. This is actually 2 towels put together. They're sort of smaller. 2 towels and 2 rolls of paper towels. The paper towel rolls will be a substitution for bolsters and blocks. Again, if you have those things at home, you can just use those. It's probably a little bit easier. But I am assuming not everybody has those things. So I will be again using this towel and the 2 rolls of paper towels. But again, if you've got the fancy stuff, use the fancy stuff. So we're gonna start on our backs. So we can put all this stuff to the side. I always like to have something under my head. That's really why I have this. So I'm gonna cushion under my head, but you don't have to do that. That's optional. But make your way down into your back. And so when you're on your back, especially if you've got these paper towel rolls, I wouldn't use blocks for this, but since the paper towel rolls are round, are cylindrical, you could place them under the backs of your knees and allow your legs to be long. Now again, you could do this with the blocks. I just wouldn't because they're square and it doesn't feel quite as comfortable really, but maybe it does for you. So listen to your body. Do what your body is asking. And you can have your legs extended, or you could be as I was just a few moments ago with the knees bent and the feet flat. But really the intention here is to come onto your back in a really comfortable position, something that takes no effort, where you can really relax. And you start to let your body really surrender to gravity, to the earth. Let everything relax. Remembering again that this entire practice is meant to be comfortable and gentle and should feel very good. So at any point, make sure that that's true for you. If you need to adjust, move, wiggle, fidget, do whatever you need to do to be comfortable. So let your body be comfortable here. Let your body feel heavy. And as you relax your body, your muscles, your joints, your bones, let's turn the attention to the breath. For a few moments, just notice your breath. Notice how easy and effortless it is to breathe here. Notice how relaxed your breath is. And you're welcome to stay here, just noticing your natural breath. Or I'll walk you through a breathing pattern where we'll lengthen the breath, but especially lengthening the exhalation. This is said to have a calming quality, is a calming technique. So we'll inhale to a count of 4 and exhale to a count of 6. But again, you're welcome to stay here and breathe naturally. But to begin and to follow along with me, exhale completely. Push all of the breath out of your lungs. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And return back to your natural breath. Notice how you feel. Keeping your attention inward, and everything about you present. If it feels right for you in this moment, you're welcome to silently set an intention for your practice. Ask yourself what brought you to your mat today. And whatever word or phrase comes to mind, make sure it is a positive word or phrase, something you'd like to manifest or something you'd like to gain. Give yourself a few moments to silently and slowly repeat it, to allow it to settle in your heart. And then slowly deepen your breath. And as you deepen your breath, create soft movements throughout your body. Let your head rock side to side. Wiggle fingers and toes, move through arms and legs. Take a few moments to move in any way that feels good for you, whether that means a full body stretch or hugging your knees into your chest. Remember that you have full authority and autonomy over your body. You can move any way you'd like at any point in the practice. And you know your body better than anyone. So again, you always have that autonomy, that free will to move, wiggle, fidget, adjust, so that the pose really suits your needs and your body. Okay, so in just another moment, make your way over onto either side in a tucked fetal position, resting your ear on your arm to support your head and neck. Pause for a deep breath. And then firmly push both hands down into the floor and rise up. Okay. All right, we're going to come to a seat. So I'm going to grab one of my blocks to sit on. But if you don't have anything to sit on, that's okay. I wouldn't sit on the paper towel roll. We are going to be doing something very similar in a moment. But right now, I want you to sit on something firm, not something that will rock and roll. Okay. So coming up, again, to a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. You don't have to position your legs like mine. You can just sit comfortably. I want us to move around a little bit through the spine, and then we'll get into our restorative poses. So sit up really tall, relax the shoulders. Inhale, draw your belly forward, lift your chest, lift your heart. You might even look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the ribs back, chin to the chest, look down. Inhale as you draw the belly forward, lift the chest, lift the heart, look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ribs back, chin to the chest, look down. Move with your breath, just maybe 2 or 3 more of each. Recognizing that we are warming up, nothing needs to be too deep or intense. Everything we do should be very comfortable. It shouldn't take too much work. Do 1 more of each. And then slowly return back to the center, back to a neutral spine. So really lengthening up, elongate the spine. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, bring the right hand down, sweep the left fingertips over like you're reaching to the side of the room. Inhale to the center, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Exhale, switch sides, left hand down, right fingertips reach. Inhale to the center. Exhale into the side stretch. And again, moving with your breath. So you might not be in sync with me, and that's okay. So you're moving at your own pace. That's what's really nice about a home practice is you're less likely, at least, to get distracted or feel the pressure of needing to sync up with or look like someone else. Let's do this 1 more time on each side. Again, following your own pace, your own rhythm. And then the next time you return back to the center, we'll do 1 final movement here. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, drop the arms, turn and twist. Turn your heart to the right. Inhale to the center, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Exhale, drop the arms, turn and twist over to the left. Again, at the pace of your breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Do just a few more. Try to really articulate this movement so it really happens at your waist. You're truly just moving from the waist up. So your hips and your legs can remain fairly still. Let's do this 1 more time each side. And then inhale, return back to the center. Exhale, let the arms lower all the way down. Okay, now we're gonna come right into our first restorative pose. We are not wasting any time. So we're gonna come down, so we don't need to sit on our props anymore. Okay, so if you have blocks and a bolster at home, you're gonna set up, excuse me, with your blocks, probably looking something like this, and then placing the bolster right over it. If when you come into child's pose, which is what we're coming into, and it seems like it's a little too high, you can just rest on the bolster. You can get rid of the blocks underneath it. But if you don't have that stuff, here's where we'll use the paper towels and the towel or blanket or whatever you've got. So you're gonna make the same sort of shape, this sort of long shape. Again, we're mimicking like a bolster. But then I like to place something over this, mostly because I'm in a tank top and that sort of sticky, plasticky feeling doesn't feel good on my skin. But just sort of giving it another layer of padding, something a little softer. You're going to be resting your face on it. So really that's all we need that for. So it doesn't have to be very big. It doesn't have to be super thick and plush, just something to kind of cover the plastic. This is really the only pose that this matters because again, your face is going to be on it. Okay, we're coming to child's pose. So you're going to come up. So your prop, whatever your prop is in between your thighs. So your knees are about mat distance apart, no wider than mat distance though, only mat distance or a little closer together, that's fine. You start with your hips towards your heels. I often see people in child's pose with their hips up towards the ceiling. We want your knees very deeply bent and your hips dropping towards your heels. Now my hips touch my heels, yours might not, and that's okay. There's a lot of joints that need to be open for that to happen. So that might not happen. You might hover a little bit, but I want you to think about letting your hips pull down and back towards your feet. Okay, and you sort of snuggle in, and then you lower your belly, your chest, and rest one cheek down. It doesn't matter to me which one you rest first. Of course, we will be switching sides. And I'll ring my bell. Feeling tempted to sing that song. But I will ring the bell when it's time to turn at your neck. All of these poses will be holding for about 5 to 6 minutes. So you really want to find a comfortable position here. So if you need to move and fidget and wiggle and adjust and lift, lower, whatever you need to do that early on, so that you can really settle and so that you can really relax. So that your chest, your ribs, your belly all feel heavy on your props. Your hips feel heavy towards your heels, towards your feet. Your arms relax onto the mat, onto the floor, in any position that's comfortable. And you stay present. Oftentimes in restorative yoga, we're in the stillness and in the silence, which I will give you momentarily. But in that stillness and in that silence, our mind wanders. Our mind takes a walk. So your mind might start to think about your next meal. That's a common one. You might start to think of all the things you have to do today or this week or whatever. Your mind starts to go somewhere. And the hope in any yoga practice, but especially restorative yoga, is can we keep our mind present? Can our mind and our body stay united? So your body is practicing yoga. Can your mind practice yoga? Can your mind stay unified with your body so that they are both in this moment? Can they stay in the here and now? Can you remain present and aware, but relaxed and gentle? So one way to keep that present attention is to notice your body. Notice what you're feeling. Stay where you're at for about 3 more breaths. And then keeping most of your body still and relaxed, we'll turn at the neck, turning and letting the opposite cheek rest down. So try to move slow and relaxed. Let that other cheek rest heavy on your props. And come back again so that your mind and your body are unified, both in the present moment. So notice what your body is saying. Notice how your body is feeling. Continue to relax, but notice what your body has to say. deepen your breath. And keeping your hands in contact with the ground. Slide your hands so they come under your shoulders alongside your props. Use the strength of your arms. Push your hands into the ground. Inhale, lift yourself up off your props. And then give yourself a few moments to be wherever you need to be. So you might shift forward into tabletop and lengthen your legs out, or maybe roll out the ankle. Spread the toes, crunch them in, move a little through the legs. You were asking your feet to be strongly pointed, your knees to be very deeply bent, and your hips to be very deeply flexed as well. So the legs were really doing a lot. Well, they weren't working, as in they weren't doing a lot, they weren't that way, but there was a lot of deep flexion or extension happening. And so allow it to sort of move and sway. Give yourself another breath or two. Okay. All right. Now for this next one, we really don't need the towel or blanket. I don't think we really need it unless you want it for Shavasana. So we really don't need it again. Now for the next pose, we only need one paper towel roll or one blanket, or one block or one bolster. So you only need one of whatever you're using, you only need one. If you have blocks and a bolster, I would use a bolster, but if you've got blocks, just use a block or a roll of paper towels. But set it off to the side and come down onto your back. I'm just gonna move my stuff around, but make your way down onto your back with your knees bent and your feet flat. And just notice what it feels like to be on your back, noticing how your spine is making contact with the mat. It is making contact with some spaces, and there will be some spaces where your back feels like it's far away from the floor. But just notice how your spine feels. You were in a forward bend in the last pose. Now you're in neutral. Just take a breath. Okay. Now we're going to come to the opposite of a forward bend into a little bit of a back bend. So we're coming to supported bridge, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Let's do a few moving bridges just to show the body where we're going in a more gentle way. So let's bring the arms alongside the body, palms down, knees bent, feet flat, feet and knees hip distance apart. Push your feet down into the ground and inhale, lift your hips, squeeze your glutes, really pinch your backside, and then exhale, slowly lower down. Let's do just about 3 or 4 more, and they don't have to be very high. Inhale, lift your hips up, squeeze your glutes, contract the back of the body. Exhale, very slowly lower down. Let's do about 2 more. Inhale, lift, reach, rise, firm up the legs. Exhale, slowly lower. 1 more. Inhale and exhale. Okay, now we'll come into the restorative version. So I'm going to grab onto one roll of paper towels. Again, if you've got a block, use a block. If you've got a bolster, use a bolster. I would say the bolster is probably the best option. So if that's what you have, I would use that. Paper towel roll will work just fine. So just like before, just holding the paper towel roll in your hand. Inhale, lift up, just like before, and slide your prop, whatever it may be, under your sacrum. Paper towel roll, it's got to let some air out. It's getting nice and flat. That's all right. Okay. Okay, so you're placing your prop, again, whatever it is, under your sacrum. Your sacrum is not the same as your low back. It is below your low back. It is south of your low back. So it's below where a belt would go, below the waistband of your pants. I'm wearing something high-waisted, but even if you were wearing something like hip hugger low-rise jeans, it would still be a little bit below that. So it's quite low.
And the reason we need your prop, whatever it is, to be on the sacrum is because the sacrum is a flat bone instead of the rest of your spine has that sort of bumpy, the vertebrae are real sort of rounded and bumpy. The sacrum's not like that. So it can take that pressure a lot easier. Okay, now you've got lots of options. Just like before, we're going to stay for several minutes. I'm going to make sure that I am paying attention to the time. Okay, so you've got lots of options. Option one is just stay here. Knees bent, feet flat, just like this. This is probably where I'm going to stay. You could knock your knees in. That might be comfortable too, especially for your inner thighs. Another option is to lengthen your legs along your mat, like you're in Shavasana, but with a with a prop underneath you. I'm used to cueing it that way, but with something underneath you. Now you'll feel an opening in the fronts of your hips here, in your hip flexors, your psoas. But that should not come at the expense of your lower back feeling like it's getting crunched. In my body, 9 times out of 10, I feel a crunchiness, a grinding in my lower back. That's not worth it. So don't do that if that happens to you, but it might not. Another option, we're going to be here again for about 5 minutes, so this is a long time to take this next option, but maybe you do it for a little bit and that's fine, is to take a version of legs up the wall. So one leg at a time, let it lift up off the ground, and then the other, and then lengthen one leg and lengthen the other. So go step by step, one leg at a time. Okay. Now again, this is a long time to be here with your legs just floating. We don't want to reach the feet. That's not what we're doing. Imagine that your legs have no effect of gravity. Gravity doesn't affect your legs. They're just floating. It's like you're underwater and I always kind of picture like in a lazy river. There's no work being done by any part of you. And you can be here again, or if this doesn't feel comfortable or it starts to get tiring, which is not what we're looking for in restorative yoga, bend the knees, feet flat. Now, wherever you choose to be, just relax. Let your body soften. So starting with your upper body, let the back of your head feel heavy on the floor. Let your neck soften. Your shoulders and the backs of your arms feel heavy on the ground. Release any tension in the palms and fingers. And notice the shape that you're feeling in your spine. Your upper back is pushed heavy onto the floor, but your mid-back, lower back, and the sacrum are lifted away from the floor. You're in a back bend, and it should be comfortable. So allow your lower sections of your spine to lift away from the ground, up on a prop. Notice the shape that creates. Notice the feeling and sensations that you experience. Allow everything to relax. Allow everything to soften. No matter what version of this pose you're in, it's comfortable. It's effortless. Your body is at ease, and because your mind is following your body, they are linked, they are unified, they are united, your mind is relaxed. Your mind is at ease. You can soften on the outside as well as soften on the inside. Slowly deepen your breath. Now, as we release out of this pose, keep the head and the neck fairly still. But you can spend some time wiggling your fingers and toes, moving your arms, and bringing your feet back flat onto the ground with the knees bent if they were in another position. So again, we want to keep the head and the neck still as we release out of this pose, but arms and legs can move a little bit. Okay, and then with the knees bent and feet flat, inhale, lift your hips, slide your prop off to the side. Use the whole exhalation to lower. Lower very slowly, breathe out slowly. And then once you come all the way down, notice how your spine feels. Again, notice the spaces that are touching and making strong contact with the mat. One more breath here. Okay. Now slowly roll over onto either side in a tucked fetal position, ear resting on the arm. Take a moment, pause. And then firmly push both hands into the floor and inhale, rise up to a seat. All right, so our next pose, which is another back bend, it will be a deeper version of what we just did, but very different. Instead of lifting our hips, we're gonna lift our chest. So you're gonna take your 2 paper towel rolls or your 2 blocks and create the letter T. So if you've got blocks, give them some space between them, probably about, 3 or 4 inches, maybe more. This is going to be where your head rests. This is going to be where your spine rests. So we don't need anything under the neck, basically. But if you're using paper towels, they're probably going to be closer together because the paper towel roll is taller than the block. So they can come close together. Okay, and also, if you're using blocks, the one for your head should be 1 height higher. So you're still making the letter T, they're just not going to be on the same height. The one for your head is 1 height higher. Okay. Or just your paper towel rolls just as they are, making the letter T. Now you're going to come so that you're sitting with your legs extended and slowly lower down onto your props, whatever they are. So you might have to sort of move. I like to come to my forearms and adjust so I know it's centered. It's not crooked. I guess there is some space between when I practiced this earlier there wasn't, but for me there is actually a few inches, probably about 3 inches or so between the 2 rolls of paper towel. So I'm sorry if you've got to adjust. Yeah, when I did it earlier it didn't, so I guess it doesn't matter. It really is about where is it comfortable for this block that's under your spine? Where is it comfortable for it to rest? So it might be more comfortable lower, it might be more comfortable higher. It's wherever is comfortable, where the edge rests on your spine. So that's why actually the paper towel is more comfortable here than a block, because a block has a really firm corner and that can sort of dig into a spot. And so that usually dictates where the prop goes. But if you got the paper towel roll, that's not really an issue. But then you've got to really listen to your spine. So if the paper towel roll is really low, now it's a lower back bend. Or if it's up higher, it's more in your mid back, or it could be somewhere in between. I like it sort of in between. It really is what feels good for you. Okay. And then you support the head. Here feels about good. Okay. And then you let your legs lengthen, or if it's more comfortable to have your knees bent, and knock the knees in, you can, but legs long is fine. Arms about a foot away from the body with the palms up. And you let yourself rest. You let the back side of your body melt into the support beneath it. So the props, the mat, the floor, the building, the earth. Sink into all of those layers, because each one of those layers, each one of those supports has your back. It's stable beneath you, so you can relax into it. Let yourself relax and remain present. Continue to unify your body and your mind. So maybe you keep your mind focused on what you're feeling. How does it feel to have your spine in this shape? To be in this back bend, which is a shape we don't typically take on an average day. So notice what it feels like to take on this shape, this back bend, this spinal extension. And how does that shape affect the way your chest and shoulders feel? Can you feel an opening through the collarbones, through the front of the chest, by the heart? Notice what your body has to say as you're here. start to deepen your breath. And here it's okay if you rock your head side to side, wiggle your fingers and toes, move through arms and legs. And we'll all meet with the knees bent and the feet flat, and slowly roll sideways all the way off your props into a tucked fetal position, resting your ear on your arm. And then, trying to keep as much of your body still and relaxed, remove the props off your mat. So if it's just 2 paper towel rolls, that's pretty easy. If you have more stuff, it's a little harder, but try to just push that stuff off to the side and come all the way down onto your back. Knees bent, feet flat. Coming back to a neutral spine again, one more time, noticing what part of your spine is touching the mat and what part isn't. Each time we've done this, it should have felt a little different, and maybe it didn't. Maybe every single time it felt the exact same and the differences were so subtle you barely noticed them. That's okay. But you do want to give yourself the opportunity every once in a while to pause, to try to notice the subtle. Because you'll never notice subtle differences if you're not pausing and attempting to see them, right? So you've got to just notice, pause, and maybe you feel nothing, maybe it felt the exact same. That's all right. That's okay. Just notice how your torso and your spine feels. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. You might rock from side to side, really push your lower back into the floor. Notice how that feels. You might take a happy baby. You might point and flex your feet, do ankle circles, whatever you need. For a few more moments, and then we'll come into Shavasana. So in Shavasana, we want to remember that it is a restorative pose. So you want to set yourself up in a very comfortable way. That might mean for me, if I were coming into Shavasana, which I'm going to come to a seat in a moment, but if I were in Shavasana, I would put something under my head and I would put those paper towel rolls under my knees. But you don't have to do that. That's okay. I'm going to come up to a seat, but you stay on your back. And I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but it sounds like someone just started using like a leaf blower or something. So my apologies if you can hear that, if that's coming through on the camera. Not much I can do about it. I wish I could. Okay, and I'm actually going to grab a sweatshirt too. So you might want to put a layer on, you might want to turn a light off, whatever you've got to do, because the hope is that you can be really comfortable and you won't need to fidget, you won't need to move, you won't need to adjust. So let your body settle. Let your body rest. Feel the back side of your body again settling and sinking. Feeling heavy on the support beneath it. Relaxed as it can feel stable and supported because of the earth and the floor and your mat and the props. You can really relax. You can soften every muscle. You can relax every joint. You can release any and all tension, release any and all stress. Allow
allow your physical body to soften as deeply as possible. Allow your breath to be at ease and effortless. Allow your mind to be unified in that relaxation of the breath and of the body. Let everything relax. breath. Create soft, small movements throughout your body, letting your head rock side to side, running your thumbs over the rest of your fingers as you wiggle your toes. Roll wrists and ankles, move arms and legs. You can reach your arms overhead, stretching as if you just woke up from a long nap. Fingertips and toes in opposite directions. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, hug your knees in towards your chest. And slowly roll over onto either side in a tucked fetal position. Keeping your eyes closed and using the strength of both arms, push down into the ground and come up to a comfortable seat. Take a moment here to thank yourself for making it to your mat today, and maybe reflect on your intention. Loka samasta sukhi no bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. Now slowly join your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. To seal our practice, we'll chant the sound of Om one time. Om is the oldest and most sacred mantra. You're welcome to join me or just listen. But I will chant the sound of the traditional Om, which is 3 letters, 3 distinct sounds, A, U, M. And if you're joining me, think about the Ah, the A sound coming from deep in your belly, the U coming from your heart, and the M coming from the back of the throat. Imagine this sound traveling up your spine as it travels out of your throat. Again, we'll just chant the sound of Om one time. Let's start with a deep and clearing breath. Inhale for Om. The light or the good in me acknowledges, respects, and bows to the light or the good in you. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, for following along. I hope that you enjoyed yourself, and I hope really that you continue to take care of yourself. So continue to do that in any way that you can, even if that just means taking a few deep breaths every now and then. Take care of yourself, and thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.